Hi, it's Hannah. I'm in my bus Clementine today, and if you watched my last video, I just finished decorating the bus, which means that the notebook I've been keeping for the past year of all of my expenses is pretty much done. So today I'm going to go over every little thing that I spent on the bus. It might be slightly off because of shipping prices from things from Amazon and taxes. Some taxes weren't accounted for depending on how I added up the receipt, but it should be a very, very close account of everything that the bus cost me. So on Instagram all the time I see these really decked out vans and they're built professionally, and people can spend upwards to $60,000, $80,000, even $100,000 on these vans. And then on the flip side, I see people who buy SUVs or minivans and they convert them for under $2,000 or $3,000 if they're really careful with their money. So I think it's really useful to just show how much the bus cost me as a complete amateur who didn't know what I was doing to completely build it, just for anybody else who wants to look into building out a van or a bus, but they have absolutely no idea what their price range is going to be. When I was keeping track of everything, I broke it down into categories. So the categories are how much the bus itself cost, how much the hardware cost, how much the lumber, the electric, and then I grouped together paints, primers, and sealants, the inner kitchen workings, all of my decor, extras that didn't really fit into any category. I also have how much maintenance costs to get my bus up and running safely, and how much I spent in tools. And we're going to do that one by one. I'm going to add them up as I go, and this is going to be painful. Before I start adding up everything, my budget for everything, including the price of the bus, was $20,000. I did not want to spend over that, but I haven't added up everything yet, so I honestly don't know how far short or over my budget I went, so we're going to discover that together. Starting with the bus itself. You can get buses for a lot cheaper than I bought mine, but you can also get them for a lot more pricey than I bought mine. But for the length of the vehicle that it is, plus the fact that it's a wheelchair lift so I don't have to deal with the wheel wells, I think I got a pretty good deal. My bus is a 2008 6-window, and it cost me $9,000. So I'm gonna write that in. Next is the hardware. Hardware includes the 3M tape that I used, construction screws, door hinges, studs, brackets, all of that good stuff. The total cost of my hardware is $500.90 just for hardware. Next is lumber, and I know that this one's gonna be a lot because wood right now is crazy expensive. So let's start adding. It's gonna be a lot of math. I don't like math. The total cost of my lumber, which includes plywood sheets, which I used for walls. I also used it for the floor. I also include all the 2x4 I used for the structure, all of the shiplap for my walls also. Common board, just everything that was just wood, was $1,776.11. So the next category I have is electric. I know this also is going to be a lot, even though there's not as many items, because electric is expensive. My battery, I already know, was $1,000. My AC, that was a few hundred. All of my lights, all of the wire. Wire was surprisingly expensive. I learned a lot during this build. I did not know that people spent so much money just on wiring. I forgot what I wrote on. My total electrical purchases added up to $3,816.21. Yeah. It's okay, I saved for this. I worked for 5 years for this. Paints, primers, and sealants is exactly what it sounds like. Paints, primers, and sealants. I had to paint the terrarium that I built. I had to seal all of the holes that I cut on the roof for the fan and the skylight. All the liquid nail. Also, I used a lot of liquid nail just to help secure down some of the screws to keep things from moving while I had to secure them in place. Paints, primers, and sealants added up to be $388.63. Not too bad, not too bad. So the next is kitchen workings. This includes my sink, the water storage underneath, and all the plumbing to get the water up. And that added up to $472.84. Okay, the next category is decor. For all of my decorations, which include the kitchen countertop, this tablecloth, all of my curtains, my wallpaper, the cushion covers, my dash mat. It also includes the decor things that I bought for my cat, like the towel and her litter box underneath the bench, her cat scratcher, all the stuff for my room too. That is $874.31. So for extras, that includes my skylight, the foam that I needed for the floor, my door for the bathroom, outlet plates, and the vents that I got to help airflow where my electrical area is. And let's go ahead and add it up. I lost count, I have to start over. Alright, so the total cost of all of my little extras is, oh my god, $1,059.92. I wasn't expecting it to be that high, but I think it's because the bulk is just 2 items. One is my vinyl flooring, which was $317, and the other was my skylight. And because it locks and it's a marine hatch skylight to make it a little bit waterproof, it was almost $500. And it was really hard to find one that would be cheaper that wouldn't break. I was afraid that the plasticky ones looked like they were going to break on the road or fly off my roof, so I went ahead and got the nice glass one, and it was a little bit pricey. But those make up the bulk, the rest of the extras are smaller things. So now I have all my categories filled in except for those 2 little extras at the end, and I will add those up. Moment of truth. Did I stay underneath my $20,000 budget? Yes, I did. My total for the bus and everything in it is $17,888.92. However, I'm a 21-year-old girl. I was 20 when I bought it. I didn't have any power tools. Luckily, my dad has a lot, and so did my friend Kai. So they let me borrow a lot of them, but I also had to buy some power tools as I went of my own, and also I replaced a few of like the blades and drill bits and the batteries that they let me use just so I wasn't using their tools and then giving them back things that weren't usable anymore. So I have a separate category just for the tools that I used, and then I also have a separate category for state legal things for the bus, like getting it titled and registered, and maintenance. A lot of these are like $2 for paint cups, or, you know, 20 bucks for a new blade for the Dremel, so a lot of this is really not that bad. So everything I spent in tools was $108.02, and again, that price would be a lot higher if it weren't for the fact that my dad and my friend so graciously lended me so many of their tools during this build. It would have cost me hundreds more if I had to go buy all of those things on my own. So when I uninstalled the original heater that came with the bus, I had to buy a little elbow bracket to help clamp the coolant flow to the front of the engine, and that was $15. And then I took it to the mechanic and had them do a full sweep over because I just wanted to make sure that everything was looked at, nothing was missed before I ended up taking it driving across the country. And after they inspected everything, the total for my mechanic visit was $2,346. That was a real good chunk, and I'm pretty sure I'm over my budget now. But I also have to go find the price that I spent to get the title and register, so I'll do that real quick. I found it. I had to go back into my bank statements. But my trip to Desert Title, and that was to get the bus registered as an RV, as well as the registration fee. And I had to pay taxes on it because when I bought the bus from California, they didn't charge me taxes, and since I bought it from a business and I'm a regular, singular person, the state had to collect taxes here on my $9,000 purchase. So, at the title place, I spent $611.89. So, everything for the bus itself and not the build inside, so the maintenance, the engine part I needed to buy, and the registration, was $2,900.73. Total cost for everything: build, tools, registration, taxes, everything was $20,862.15. It's a lot of money. So obviously there's some upgrades that need to happen as I start living in the bus and I start to learn what needs to be fixed or changed. So I'm expecting to spend a little bit more in the future. I might do an updated budget video after I've lived in it for a little while and I know about how much it cost once I improved things. I might need a second battery to maintain everything. Right now my fridge is draining it a little quickly. I also am going to want to buy a composting toilet, and that's like another $1,000. A shelf for the bathroom, which is little things. A lot of this is just trial and error right now. I decided I wanted to do this when I was 15, so I saved up a very long time to be able to do this. I saved for years. I worked so hard. I put everything into it. So again, I want to reiterate that if you're looking to buy a vehicle to convert, the budget that you can have can differ drastically from what you might see online. My dad bought a 1998 Dodge Ram van, and I think he converted the entire thing for under $5,000. So really, it's just whatever your budget is, whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm somewhere right in the middle, so I feel like it's a pretty good example of how much this is going to cost if you want to do it on your own. Also, if you wanted to convert something this style by yourself using kind of inexpensive materials when you can find it, but it's in a van with much smaller space, it's going to cost a lot less wood to cover the walls, ceilings, floors, everything. So it's pretty much whatever budget you want to make it. Clementine the bus turned out pretty much exactly how I wanted it to. It's definitely a little rough around the edges, but it's home built and this is my first bus. If you have any specific questions on what anything specific cost me, fridge, battery, electric, wallpaper, anything, go ahead and leave a comment because I would love to let you know how much I spent on things individually. It's just that this video would be very, very long if I went over every single item individually, but I would love to answer those questions if you have them. I know that the cost of living in a vehicle is a huge question because some people think that it costs thousands and thousands of dollars more than an apartment or a house would, and some people think that you can do it for practically free. So once I'm living on the road, I would love to do a monthly budget video about how much I realistically spend on insurance, gas, groceries, parking, all of that good stuff. But for now, I hope you enjoyed my bus budget video, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!
Just because I wasn't listening.
Thanks! Oh, I almost tripped.
You can... What happened?
The crumbs are driving me crazy.
No, that was good.
Great! From the top, people! Imagine I accidentally erased it and had to add them all again.
I'll kill you. Beautiful.
Cut. Cool.